to speak about in this Pani Hati festival, which I was not confident at all. But then Prabhu insists, no, you have to speak. And the lazy person like me, until unless you know the pressure coming to your head, you never hear, you never read. So after Prabhu talk about it, and Prabhu says, no, you have to talk about the Pani Hati. So I start hearing the lecture as well as from the Chaitanya Charitamrita Ant Leela, chapter 6 is exclusively talk about the Pani Hati festival. So I read that chapter. So today whatever I am actually going to talk about, it will be all and all glories to His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. I listen to Nitai Sevini Mataji. I also listen to Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Gaur Govindas Prabhu, and many senior Vaishnavas. So whatever I'm speaking is what I have read, and whatever my teeny tiny intelligent, is allowing me to speak, is all glories to them. If you take anything, if you learn anything from this wonderful pastime, all credits goes to them. And all the defect or whatever that, if because of my inability, that if I'm not able to explain it properly, that complete defect on my side. Having said that, please bless me, and I need a blessing from Mata Bhishmaka and all the Vaishnava here, so then I'll able to glorify this wonderful pastime. So we'll start with our prayers, and then we can actually get into the pastimes. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Shila Prabhupada ki jai. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा
जय जय श्री चैतन्य
जय नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
श्री अद्वैता चंद्र जय गौर Bhakta-vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya
Jaya Nityananda. Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Guru Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta-vrinda.
So, before we actually get into the pastime of the Pani Hati, this pastime was actually happened in the Bengal. The Pani Hati, that is actually a place located in Bengal. And today, since it's related to our six Goswamis, we will basically little bit talk about who are those six Goswamis, what is their contribution to our society, and why they have it in our altar, and why we should pray to them. So how many of you know, I know the devotee here, they know who's the six Goswami, but other than the devotees gathered here, how many of you know that who's the six Goswami and where they are in our altar? The devotees, they know. I'm talking about our regular congregation member. Does anybody know? Sonalika Mataji, you know? The six Goswamis?
I didn't remember all the names. I read, but I didn't remember.
Yeah.
Monica
Mataji.
One minute, Sanatana Goswami.
Huh.
Rupa Goswami.
Raghunath Goswami and
Rupa.
No.
Rupa Goswami.
No.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
No, that is, no. Talking about six Goswamis.
Jago.
Who they are in our altar actually. Anybody even know why they are in our altar? Why they are, how they look like in our altar? Everybody come and take a darshan in our altar. And why do we need to know about them? See, until unless we know who they are, until unless we know that what are the activities they have performed, then how can we sincerely pray to them? Myself, I did not know their wonderful glories and activities until unless Radha Govinda Prabhu pressured me to know about them. So after I'm knowing, then I can feel that when I'm actually going in my altar, I'm sincerely praying to them. Otherwise, it's just like they were just in my altar also, but I did not know the glory that what they have actually done and why we should pray to them. So here, this is our six Goswami. Now next time or today when you go close to the altar, please pray to them and beg for their mercy. And is Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Dasa Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopala Bhatta Goswami, and the Jiva Goswami. So before we hear about their glories, let's, we just basically, we don't have a time to sing the whole Shata Goswami prayer, but we will just take a very first shloka and then we just pray our sincere obeisances to them. But if the Krishna's mercy happen, one day we will make our Paripurna Prabhu to chant this six Goswami prayers. He will take you right away to the Goloka Vrindavan. So this is something we all have experienced, and Prabhu, they truly, sing from his heart, and that's the reason that we all feel it. So we'll just sing the very first shloka of the Shat Goswami prayer and ask our six Goswami to bless us. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritam Bhonidhi Dhira Dhira Jano Priya Priya Karo Nirmatsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharo Bhuvi Bhuvo Varam Vaham Tarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghu If anybody would like to read the translation.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are always engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna and dancing. They are just like the ocean of love of God, and they are popular both with the gentle and with the ruffians, because they are not envious of anyone. Whatever they do, they are all pleasing to everyone, and they are fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya. Thus, they are engaged in the missionary activities meant to deliver all the conditioned souls in this material universe.
Krishna. So, why do we need to pray to our acharyas, the six Goswamis? The six Goswamis, they are not the ordinary living entities. They are all the six manjaris, which directly come from the spiritual world. So who are those manjaris? Manjaris, they are basically, helping Radharani to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they come into this material world, and they know that we are, the souls, the living entity in the Kali Yuga are suffering. So if the Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is compared to the moon of those rays is actually compared to the six Goswami. So what is this rays actually do? Two things the rays will actually do. One is removing wherever the rays is actually goes, it removes the darkness, and also gives a very cooling effect. That is the rays of the Chandrama, right? So we are also in the age of Kali Yuga. The age is very quarrel and hypocrisy, and we are burning in this anxiety and blazing fire. So what does the six Goswamis basically do? Their teaching is actually do. Hearing about them, the sacrifice, the austerity what they have performed, it also give us this cooling effect that that what we are burning in this material world with this blazing fire, it also gives a relief from them. So that is the reason, if you wanted to make advancement in our spiritual world, we need to take a shelter of the six Goswami. So what is this their contribution to the society? We all go in a Vrindavan Dham. We see the beautiful mandir there, the Radha Damodar temple, Govinji temple, Radha Madan Mohana temple. All of those temples is actually discovered by, and their deities is worshipped by the six Goswamis. Not just that, they have also discovered, Raghunath Das Goswami has also discovered the Shamakund and Radha Kund. The Shamakund and Radha Kund used to be called Kali Kheti and Gori Kheti. Kal Khet, Kali Kheti and Gori Kheti. So this is the name of the Shamakund and Radha Kund. Was also built and discovered by the Raghunath Das Goswami. Now, they have written many literatures, many books. This is just the example of a few books, but they have written way more than literature what I have actually described here. So Hari Bhakti Vilasa, Krishna Sandarbha, Gopala Champu, Dana Keli, Brahada Bhagavata, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. Many of them, those books were actually written by the six Goswami. They born in a very wealthy family, but developed that great renunciation in their heart. And they preserve, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has actually, they preserve the mood of a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raghunath Das Goswami has actually spent 16 years serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then they preserved the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and spread the glories of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to all over the world. And they established the standard of the pure devotional service for a future generation. So the people like us, by reading their book, like a Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, we will actually understand that, what is this, how to perform the devotional service. So this is their contribution to the society. Now, out of the six Goswami, two of them from Karnataka, two of them from Andhra, one of them from MP, and one of them from UP, and the one of them from the Bengal. And since this pastime is actually related to a Raghunath Das Goswami, today we actually going to learn about who is this Raghunath Das Goswami, and how he's actually involved in this Panihati festival. So this Panihati festival, it is also called the Chida Dahi Mahotsav, celebrated in every year around the month of May or June, and is also called also celebrated as a Danda Mahotsav. Now, why it is celebrated as a punishment a Mahotsav, we will actually know this in a few minutes. So now let's learn about Raghunath Das Goswami, the family lineage and the family wealth that what is the Raghunath Das Goswami has. So Raghunath Das Goswami was born into a highly respected and influential family in Bengal. His father's name was Govardhan Majumdar, and the uncle was Hiranya Majumdar, who are extremely wealthy and the tax collector. So they were daily collecting about 2 million the gold coin for the government, and out of 2 million, 500,000 coins, gold coin, they used to keep it. That is their everyday income. So you can imagine how wealthy family that he was actually belonged to. Now, if we take the spiritual lineage of Raghunath Das Goswami, from the childhood he was actually surrounded by a wonderful devotees. So from the childhood he was actually getting a wonderful association. Now the whole family was actually getting a wonderful association, but he was the fortunate one that who actually took up the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seriously. So now if we can see that, who he was actually surrounded by. So his family pujari was a Yadunandana Acharya, was a disciple of Advaita Acharya. Now we all know who's Advaita Acharya, but one of the wonderful things that I heard about Advaita Acharya is Advaita Acharya's disciple used to chant a 64 round every day. We heard that in a Gaudiya Math that this was actually standard to chant a 64 round every single day. We know that, just Prabhupada is the one has actually made our life a little bit easier and said, okay, chant 16 round. But the other devotees, they chant actually 64 round. And the Advaita Acharya is all disciple Shikha. He used to tie with the pole. And until only 64 round done, he would not untie the Shikha. And then he will untie the Shikha and give them a prasadam. So his disciple has to show, yes, I finished my 64 round. And then he says, okay, now you're ready for a prasadam. And he himself was actually chanting 128 round every single day. So that was Yadunandan was a disciple of Advaita Acharya. Now, Yadunandan Acharya friend was a Vasudeva Datta. And we know that Vasudeva Datta was actually very compassionate. We all know that how he was actually praying to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He used to tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, take all this jiva with you. I'm ready to suffer in this material world for their sin. Who has that compassion? So he was actually praying to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like that, take all the jivas, I'll stay back and I will suffer for their sin. So he was extremely compassionate. And the Balram Acharya was their actually spiritual master. So anytime if they wanted to get the guidance, they go to Balram Acharya. And the close friends of Balram Acharya was Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur, we all know he born into a Mohammedan family. Now imagine struggle that the person who's actually in a Hindu family and chanting having versus somebody who born in a Muslim family and they are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. How much trouble Haridas Thakur has to go through. How much anxiety that he has to go through. But he was actually worried about it. Did he give up in his chanting? What he was doing? He was actually staying in the cave with the snake. And he was actually chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. How many times? 300,000 times in a day. That much chanting that he used to do every day. And now this Raghunath Das Goswami used to visit Haridas Thakur. And sometime Haridas Thakur was also come and visit Balram Acharya, since Balram Acharya was his friend. So Raghunath Das Goswami from the childhood, he was actually very, very much attracted to a chanting. And when he was chanting, in the initial stage, the parents were very happy. Oh, look at my child. Child is actually chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. You know, that is how we see in a lot of parents, when the boy is little or girl is little, they are very happy. But then moment the child is becoming very serious in the Krishna conscious, then the parents are getting tension. That why you're not taking your study serious? Why are you spending so much time into your chanting? So Raghunath Das family was like that too. Like in an initial stage, they were actually very, very happy. So this is his spiritual background. That, you know, this is how he was actually raised. Now, when he was 15 years old, since he was having a wonderful association with these wonderful devotees, Raghunath Das Goswami have also developing a very strong desire that I wanted to actually go and actually visit the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then, while he was 15 years old, he come across to know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has took the sannyas. Now the Nityananda Prabhu tricked him. He tricked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and brought him back to Shantipur. Now that is also a whole different pastime. Since we are in a limited time frame, we're not going to go in a detail of that pastime, but we will actually come that how this the meetings with the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the Shantipur, through the Haridas Thakur, the Raghunath Das Goswami come across to know now the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shantipur. So now they actually visit the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was actually serving Mahaprabhu wonderfully. He was actually eating the remnant left by the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, making sure that all the Vaishnava has been taken care, serving them prasadam, washing, just like our Lakshmi Mataji, how she's washing all the dishes, like that, that Raghunath Das Goswami was also cleaning up all the vessels and everything. And massaging Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, the Vaishnava's lotus feet. And he was developing that, the strong burning desire in his heart that I don't want to go home now. I just wanted to go with the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he expresses that desire to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, you know what, I do not want to go home. I just wanted to stay with you. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, I want you to go home and stay in your home right now. The time hasn't come yet. And I do not want you to become a Markat Vairagi. So what is a Markat Vairagi? The Vairagi is like a monkey. If you see the monkey, how the monkey is living, if somebody look at the monkey, somebody will think, monkey is living such a renounced life. Look at it. He's living in the tree. He doesn't even have the place to stay, and he doesn't care if this tree is gone tomorrow. I'll go and make my place somewhere else. He's not even wearing a cloth, and he's living very renounced life. Somebody look at my monkey and think like that. But what is monkey is having in his heart? So much of a burning desire for sense gratification. So the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say, I do not want you to develop that Markat Vairagya. So go home, finish off your duty, and when the right time comes, then I will take you. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent him back. Now, 1 year that Raghunath Das Goswami was actually staying in his home. And while he was living, he was super intelligent, running perfect business. Where there's a time come, his father ran away, his uncle ran away, but then how beautifully he handled his business and the family matter. It actually explained very nicely in Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is also a huge pastime. So we just, in a short, we basically will say that he was such a, smart, intelligent person also. Now, while he was actually in his family duty, his mind was actually fixed into the renunciation and the devotion. He secretly attempted to run away from the home. he doesn't want to stay home. So one night he decided, okay, I'm just going to leave. I cannot stay into this place anymore. And then his father come across to it, my son left. And he was, by the way, he was the only one son in the family. The whole family do not have any other children other than Raghunath Das Goswami. So his family cannot afford it to lose him. So though he ran away, the father went, and father, get hold of him and bring him back. Now he has developed a habit that he's actually going to run away all the time. So now the father says this is not going to actually happen all the time. So I'm going to hire the security guard for you. Even hiring the security guard, he's still running away. So now the family thinking, what should we do with these boys? And then they're saying, okay, let him get married. If he get married and the wife come, and if he get into the family affair, then he won't do that. So he got married. Still he's running away from the home. And then the family, they're actually, they're tired. And the mother is like, you know what, why can't you tie him up? So then he doesn't run away. So then father is like, saying that he has a opulent like a Indra. He has a beautiful wife. If both of these things, wealth and the beauty, cannot control him, then how can be the rope control him? And then the family is like, okay, now you are in a family, so forget about running. But his heart, he always wanted to go and meet with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's saying that to his family that I wanted to go and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a Jagannath Puri. And the family says, no, you cannot go in Jagannath Puri. When he comes in a Shantipur, then you're actually going to go and visit him. He come across to know now again that, okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again in Shantipur. So he's basically telling his family, okay, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is again in a Shantipur. Now I wanted to go and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Family says, okay, you go and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He went and meet with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, you still there is a time. I suggest you to go home and stay home. I heard that you recently got married, and remember, do not become a Markat Vairagi. So go home, when the time comes, I will take you. So now he actually went home. But when he went home, he was not very happy. His mind is actually, no, I wanted to leave. But then his family become very happy. He's like, look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's such a wonderful devotee. He actually sent my son back, and he's actually give a perfect advice to my son. So his family was actually very happy. But then Raghunath Das Goswami was not very happy. So then Raghunath Das Goswami come across to know that, this Nityananda Prabhu actually came to Panihati. So now he wanted to, he developed a desire, now actually I wanted to go and meet Nityananda Prabhu. So Raghunath Das Goswami went to meet Nityananda Prabhu at Panihati. Now the moment he saw the Nityananda Prabhu is feels like a, there is a millions of moon and sun is actually came out from the one place, like that much bodily infusion he was having. So seeing Nityananda Prabhu, he just basically from the far away, he started actually praying obeisances to Nityananda Prabhu. And then Nityananda Prabhu come across to know, oh, that Raghunath Das is there, and he's actually praying obeisances to me. So Nityananda Prabhu is actually put his lotus feet in his head. But before he do that, he's basically calling, that thief is there, go and get that thief. Now everybody scratching their head and they are thinking, Raghunath Das Goswami is belong to such a wealthy family. What did he steal? He doesn't need anything. Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is calling him a thief? So people are thinking like that. But Raghunath Das Goswami was just having his head down, and he did not even say a word. Yes, I am a thief. Punish me. What punishment do you want to give? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes so happy. The Nityananda Prabhu put his lotus feet in his head, and he says, I want you to arrange a feast festival. Feast festival. But here, guess what? Nobody know that what punishment why he's getting that punishment. What did he do that he was actually getting punished? So to understand that punishment, we need to, first understand the importance of the Vaishnava. And to understand the importance of a Vaishnava, I'm going to refer to the beautiful bhajan which is actually written by Bhakti Vinod Thakur from the Sharanagati, where he is actually glorifying the Vaishnava. So in that bhajan it says, O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro tomara shakati ache Amito Kangala Krishna Krishna boli Daitava pache pache. So the meaning of this particular bhajan, it's glorifying the quality of the Vaishnava. So in this bhajan, Bhakti Vinod Thakur saying that, O Vaishnav, O venerable Vaishnav, that Krishna is yours. And please make me your servant. And Krishna is yours and only you can give me Krishna. I am just a beggar. I am just your servant. And running after you and just calling Krishna, Krishna. Without your mercy, I cannot get Krishna. So now what happened here is Raghunath Das Goswami was actually approaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without blessing of Nityananda Prabhu. If we wanted to go to a Krishna, we cannot go to Krishna directly. It has to go through a proper channel. So that is the reason Nityananda Prabhu called him a thief. Why he called him a thief? It's like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mine, belong to me. You going to Mahaprabhu without my permission? That is not going to happen. That's why he called him a thief. So now he asked Raghunath Das Goswami to basically create the festival, which is called the Dahi Chida festival. And what is in this festival? So we also talk about what kind of ingredients is actually used in this festival, and then we also how do we actually celebrate in ISKCON also the Dahi Chida festival also. So Nityananda Prabhu ordered Raghunath Das Goswami to arrange the festival and feed all the devotees with the chida. Chida means poha, like a chip rice, and dahi. Raghunath Das Goswami, he belonged to a very wealthy family, right? So he was thinking that I can arrange the grand feast. But then Nityananda Prabhu asked for dahi chida. So now he started organizing this dahi chida festival. Now this festival include feeding the devotees with the chip rice and yogurt. Now Raghunath Das Goswami immediately arranged a large quantity of food. So he's basically sending all his servants, go to all the places, collect whatever you can, the dry fruits, dahi, condensed milk, chip rice, bring all the pots. And now what is happening while all of this, the ingredients are actually getting gathered, lot of people in the village come across to know. Even the close by villages also, they come across to know that this festival is actually going to happen. Now what happened is that all of a sudden the place becomes so populated, like so many people all of a sudden. So now there is no place to sit anymore. So now when there is no place to sit anymore, then what they are doing, they start actually going into the tree and now sitting in the tree and having this dahi chida. Now the tree also become full. So now they are actually going to the Ganga river and standing in the Ganga river and actually having this dahi chida festival. So this is how this big festival is actually getting celebrated. Now Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu, through his meditation, he actually called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And along with the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually holding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hand and showing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, look at his Raghunath Das Goswami arrange a wonderful feast. And then he's actually also feeding. And in this, it is not the one type of a poha, one type of a chip rice and yogurt. Many varieties there. So then he's basically, Nityananda Prabhu is also feeding, all the different the dahi chida, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and both brothers was actually, you know, like in the mood of now they develop a mood of a Vrindavan, because it's remind him that okay, they are actually sitting by the Yamuna river, and then in Yamuna river they are actually having this wonderful feast with the gopis and gopas. Some of the devotees, they are able to see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there, but then some of the devotees, they were scratching their head and they're like, hey, what is this Nityananda Prabhu is actually doing? And then Nityananda Prabhu is also taking him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to see the Raghunath Das Goswami and ask him to bless these, you know, Raghunath Das Goswami. And that's how this wonderful pastime was actually happening. And then Nityananda Prabhu is also saying that don't just eat, also chant Hari Hari, Hari Hari. And then they were all chanting Hari Hari name, and this festival is actually happening. Now, while this festival is actually happening, this Raghava Pandit, you know who's this Raghava Pandit? He is actually a fantastic cook. And this, his, if we talk about his cooking ability, it's saying in a Chaitanya Charitamrita that, you know, whenever the Raghava Pandit is actually cook, 100% Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and eat. When Sachi Mother cook, 100% the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will actually come and eat. So this Raghava Pandit, whenever he actually, you know, the cook the prasadam, he meditated upon Srimati Radharani. And once the cooking is finished, again he go in the meditation, and Radharani will personally come and taste every food preparation that what he actually made. And then basically say, salt is here less, put the salt, sugar is missing here, add the sugar. You know, whatever is missing, she is basically pointing out. And then that's how the whole preparation was actually get ready. So now Raghav Pandit was actually preparing the whole feast for Nityananda Prabhu. He came and he saw the Nityananda Prabhu is actually, everybody is having such a grand festival here. What is happening? Then what will happen to the Chappan Bhoga that I made? So he's actually going to the Nityananda Prabhu and he's like, Prabhu, I cook Chappan Bhoga for you. What will happen to that Chappan Bhoga? Who's going to eat that Chappan Bhoga? Nityananda Prabhu says, this is just our breakfast and snacks. Don't worry. We will have a Chappan Bhoga. Don't worry. That is not going in a waste. So then, after the, you know, the festival happened, they actually go with the Raghava Pandit and have this wonderful feast there. And then after having a wonderful breakfast, lunch, whatever, and then having this Chappan Bhoga, now they are all going to the rest. Now while they are going to the rest, Raghunath Das Goswami night time, massaging, you know, the Nityananda Prabhu's feet, cleaning all the vessel, and then taking care of all the Vaishnavas. And Nityananda Prabhu saw this wonderful quality of Raghunath Das Goswami, that how eagerly he was actually serving the Vaishnava. So he personally approached Raghunath Das Goswami and he's like, hey, the time has come now. Now all the obstacle what you have it in your life is all going to get removed. The time has come now. You're going to actually meet with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very soon. The mercy is going to flow upon you. So don't worry. And he's also saying that Mahaprabhu has also blessed you. So after taking from the blessing from the Nityananda Prabhu, now this Raghunath Das Goswami decided, okay, I'm going to go home last time. So he went home, and this is all Lord's arrangement. The Yadunandan, his priest, said, today I'm not going to be available to put the Lordship to the sleep. I have to go somewhere. So Raghunath Das Goswami said, okay, no problem. I will look after the deity today. I will put them to the sleep. And then family, they're also thinking, if he really wanted to run out, you know, run away from the house, he could have done when he went to see the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He also went to the Panihati and came back. So I think he must have dropped the idea. So that they were actually having that peace of mind. They actually, in between, Raghunath Das Goswami also expressed his desire to Yadunandan. And bless me, I am going to take a leave from here now. My new life is going to start. I'm going to take a renounced order of the life. And his spiritual master actually blessed him. It's like, okay, the Yadunandan, the priest, has actually blessed him. Okay, now you go. Time has come. So he left. He left home. Now everybody night time, everybody was sleeping and he left. It's saying in a one day, he walked 40 miles. 40 miles. And he was actually walking into the east direction. Where he was going to Jagannath Puri. In Jagannath Puri, he wanted to meet the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But when he was walking and one night he walked and he realized, oh, if I'll take this short route, for sure, my father is going to send the security people, you know. And the security people is actually going to come and they actually going to take me. So I will change the route. So now he's taking a longer route. So he decided that, okay, you know what, I'm not going to go through this route, I'm going to take the longer route. So it's saying that the Chaitanya Charitamrita is basically take him, 12 days with the intense determination and devotion. And he did not even worry about food or any kind of a comfort or the physical hardship. Whatever was coming in his way, that whatever he get for eat, he will just eat and then he will continuously walk. So his saying is, in 12 days, he only was able to eat 3 times. The rest of the time he was constantly walking. And with the strong determination, having the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's in his mind, continuously praying to him, and he was continuously walked. So it took him 12 days. So after 12 days, now he reached to Jagannath Puri. Now the moment he arrived to the Puri, then he met with the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After so much difficulty, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, okay, finally you made it. Like, his clothes was all dirty, his face was dirty because he was, falling so many times while he was actually climbing the mountain, coming out from the river. So it was very, very difficult journey. So he offered, the obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mukundat is also one of the associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Also, told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now that finally he has arrived. Raghunath Das Goswami has arrived. And Mahaprabhu told him, okay, so by Krishna's mercy, you are finally here. Finally, you have made it. You finally was able to escape from your home. And he says, who is Krishna? I don't know Krishna. It's simply your mercy. Only because of your mercy, I was able to escape my home. And finally, I was arrived here. So now Mahaprabhu is basically, now ordered Swarup Damodar that, look after Raghunath Das Goswami. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Raghunath Das Goswami was actually, for 5 days, Swarup Damodar was actually getting prasadam for him. Now 6th day, he realized, I am not here to take a service from the Swarup Damodar. I'm here to serve. And I'm getting so much of a service here. I don't want to do that. So in the Jagannath Puri, there is a 4 dwar. So he was actually sitting by the east side of the gate, which is called a Simha Dwar. So he was actually sitting by the Simha Dwar and he was actually begging. So Swarup Damodar says, where is this Raghunath Das Goswami? I haven't seen Raghunath Das Goswami. What is happening with him? So then Mukundat says, here, let me show you where is he. So he is actually sitting by the Simha Dwar. And in Simha Dwar, how the prasad is actually getting distributed in Puri. Whatever prasadam was actually left out, then they just basically take it to the Simha Dwar and distribute the prasad. In between that time, there is also hunting was going on in his home, that where is Raghunath Das Goswami. So there is one of the person who was actually in Raghunath Das Goswami's village. He arranged a Puri Yatra. So the father of the Raghunath Das Goswami, his name is what? Govardhan Majumdar. So the Govardhan Majumdar wrote a letter to him. Have you take my son with you to the Puri? He's like, no, I haven't not take your son to the Puri. But then guess what? I saw your son. He was in Puri by the Simha Dwar begging. Now imagine somebody who is Ambani's son, Ambani is nothing in front of him. Imagine some wealthy person's son is actually begging in the Simha Dwar. What is the condition of the father? So the father says, he sent actually all these servants. He's like, no, I want you to go and serve my son. take money and then, serve him. So then they went to, all the servants came to the Simhadwar and asked Raghunath Das Goswami that, you know what, your father has sent us to serve. He's like, who called you? I did not ask for your help. Go, why did you come? He's like, no, your father ordered, we have to stay with you. Your father also sent so much of money. He's like, did my father give you so much of money? The servants like, yeah, he did. Like, okay, give me this money. He took that money, took it to give it to Swarup Damodar and says, every Ekadashi you're going to organize a large feast. Done deal. And he basically told the servant, please go home, I do not require your service. Now he was actually begging there for a couple of days. After that he also disappeared from there. So now Swarup Damodar is like, hey, he was sitting here and begging. Now the Raghunath Das Goswami is not here anymore. What is happening here? So he's basically, Swarup Damodar actually went to see Raghunath Das Goswami. He's like, why are you not sitting in Simhadwar anymore? What happening? He's like, Prabhu, when I'm sitting there and begging, I was becoming very judgmental. And I don't want to become a judgmental. That's what I left that place. The Swarup Damodar is like, how you are becoming judgmental? It's like, when I'm begging there, I'm thinking, oh, this Mataji is coming, or this Prabhu is coming, is going to give me prasad. But this Prabhu did not give me any prasad. So I was becoming judgmental about the devotee. I do not want to have that mentality. So I left from there. And now he is actually, where he was begging? Then he was begging in a charity booth. So I'm sure all of you went to the Dham and in a Dham, lot of people, they sponsor the prasad, isn't it? They sponsor the prasad, meaning like you'll see there's a small table. Some people are distributing kheer and puri. Some people distributing puri and saag. Some people they're distributing khichdi. So he was actually standing there. And you know what he was doing there? So when this prasad was actually getting distributed there, now whatever left over, they throw to the cow. They throw to the cow. And even cow, from there is also some of the rice is actually spoiled. So cow does not want to eat those rice. He used to pick up those rice, bring it home, wash it and eat that. And Swarup Damodar saw this, and then all the devotees, they saw that what a austerity. And then they asked, why are you doing this? It's like, hey, don't tell this to anybody. Because if in Puri anybody come across to know that I'm doing this, they think I'm a great devotee. I am such a renounced person. And look what austerity I'm performing. So he's basically begging them, do not say this to anybody. And he was continuously doing that service. He was continuously actually having a prasadam like that. And then what happened? Mahaprabhu one day asked, what is happening with Raghunath Das? Where is this Raghunath Das? What he is doing? Then Swarup Damodar said, do you want to see what he is doing? Let me take you. So he holds the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that he picked up the rice and he took it home, washed it. And the moment he was eating, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went and just hold his hand. He's like, what are you eating? Akela kha raha hai, mere ko nahi de raha hai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he hold his hand, he snatched the rice from his hand and he started eating. He took one bite, he was taking the second bite. And then Swarup Damodar says, Mahaprabhu, this is not for you. You cannot have this. You cannot have this as a prasad. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, anything that is touched by Raghunath Das Goswami is like a nectar for me. So he's basically, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has very nicely says in a very last, that I have never tasted, I have tasted actually many kind of a prasada, but I have never tasted anything as sweet as this, because it was touched by Raghunath Das in his, so it is more sweeter than the nectar. That is the Mahaprabhu basically saying. So saying like that, Raghunath Das Goswami actually stayed with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 16 years. So 16 years of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lifetime, he was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we all know that how long the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, and out of his lifespan, majority of them, Raghunath Das Goswami was there. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually became very, very happy with the Raghunath Das Goswami service. And then he gave his personal Govardhan Shila, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually worshipping. That is also another pastime involved in this. Again, we are already 6:15, so don't have a time to actually go and still have so many things to cover. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually gave him his Govardhan Shila, and this mala, it's called a Gunjita mala. So it's also this mala has this is the chat GPT picture, so it's not very accurate, but forgive me, I did not correct the mala. So this mala is actually has a red color, yellow color, and a black color. And that represent what? If the Govardhan Shila is a Sakshat Krishna, the Gunjita Mala represent Radharani. And why Radharani? Because Radharani's face, it is like a golden. So it represent, yellow represent golden. And then Radharani's lip is like a red color. And anytime Krishna play the flute, and when Radharani is putting mascara, she forgot that she's supposed to put mascara in her eye, she start putting on her lip. So that's why it has these three colors. So then Chaitanya, so wherever there is this Shaligram Shila is worshipped, there is this mala is always along with it, because it represents Srimati Radharani. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his personal. So that is the reason we see that the different Goswamis, like Radha Madan Mohan temple belong to one of the Goswami, then Radha Damodar temple, Radha Govindji temple. But Raghunath Das Goswami has only Govardhan Shila and Gunjit Mala. That is, he was actually worshipping. So now, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually left the planet and his pastime, Raghunath Das Goswami was the next to impossible for him to take that. That Mahaprabhu is actually no longer into this planet and his pastime. So he's saying that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, he was actually taking 100 milliliter, I think, this much buttermilk every 3 days. In a 3 days, one time he used to drink that buttermilk. That's all he was surviving off. Then later on, when he knows that now the Jiva Goswami has left the planet, then he start only taking water. And then he's come across then when he knows that now Raghunath Das has left the body, Rupa Goswami has left the body, then he was only surviving off air. So that was the austerity he was actually performing. Now if you see his daily activity, so now what happened after Mahaprabhu left the planet, then he actually went to Vrindavan. He was actually living by the Govardhan Hill, near by the Radha Kund. So it's saying is in 22 hours, 24 hours in our daily life, the time frame what we have, out of their 22.5 hours daily, he was either doing bhajan or chanting, remembering Radha and Krishna. Only 1.5 hour. Very accurately, 1 hour and 25 minutes he used to sleep. Only that much he used to sleep in full day. Spent about 3 hours daily describing the pastime of a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now the Chaitanya Charitamrita, what we see is written and what we have today, it is all notes of Krishna Raj Kaviraj Goswami. So he was 95 years old and he was actually hearing the pastime, what Raghunath Das was actually describing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's saying that he offered every day 1,000 obeisances to Krishna and 3,000 obeisances to Vaishnava. That was his daily routine, Raghunath Das Goswami. Now, his love for Krishna was so, because he was, his mood for Krishna was actually, he was always in a mood where he was always feeling so much of a separation for Krishna, and his love for Krishna was so deep that he often used to cry for Krishna. His love for Krishna is so intense that he even forget where he is. He even forget that who's around me. And he was in so much into the pastime where he doesn't even know what is going on around him. So his saying is, we all know that how much Raghunath Das was actually eating every day. This much buttermilk, right? Now one day, what happened? He was having a very bad stomach pain. So when he is having a very bad stomach pain, they all call these Vaidya, the doctors in their time. And then the doctor came and doctor is like, hey, this has happened because of the overeating. Overeating? They're like overeating. He doesn't even eat 3 times in 3 days only this much buttermilk. So how can we see he's actually having overeating? So then they ask him. He's like, the doctor's like, I bet you ask him what did he eat. So then they ask him, what did you eat? Did you eat sweet rice? The doctor very clearly said that, he actually eats sweet rice. That's what he's having a stomach pain. So they ask him, did you actually eat a sweet rice? He's like, yeah, I eat sweet rice. But they're like, how? When? They're like, I was actually doing meditation. And in that meditation, Radharani was actually feeding the sweet rice to me. Now if Radharani is feeding a sweet rice to me, how can I say no? So I continuously eating that sweet rice, and that's what I'm having a stomach pain now. So he was actually in that much love that actually, that Srimati Radharani was actually feeding him the sweet rice. Another, the wonderful pastime that, this, he used to do, the chant, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, nearby the Shamakund, Radhakund. And then one day he was actually, he is actually living very renounced life. So he doesn't even have a house too, or he doesn't have a kutir. So wherever he finds the place, he will basically sleep. If he doesn't find this place, that's okay. Only 1.5 hours he was sleeping anyway. So it really doesn't matter to him. So then he was actually chanting by the Radhakund. Then while he was chanting by the Radhakund, what happened? This tiger actually came to drink the water. Now he came to drink the water. Now Krishna is under pressure. My devotee is chanting here, and if this tiger actually lose his mind and attack my devotee, somebody has to be there to protect. So then Krishna, look at it, in between tiger and the Raghunath Das Goswami, Krishna is in between protecting his devotee. And then guess what? When this is actually happening, Rupa Goswami saw. And Rupa Goswami actually went to Raghunath Das Goswami. He's like, hey, what you're doing? You're supposed to serve Krishna. Here Krishna is your servant. What are you up to? Get up. Make your kutir. So then Krishna, you don't give this much trouble to Krishna, Then he's like, yeah, you're right. I'm giving Krishna trouble. Then you know what? I will make my kutir, don't worry. Now next day happened. Then guess what? Raghunath Goswami forgot that he has to supposed to make a kutir for himself. So he forgot that. And now he is in a sun and he's actually chanting. Now when he is actually chanting, what is actually happening? When it's actually happening, Radharani saw the sun is so bright and this Raghunath not even feeling heat, but I know we will get burned. He's, my devotee is in so much of trouble. So she actually took her pallu and she was actually giving, covering the Raghunath Das Goswami to make sure he's not feeling so much of heat. Now Jiva Goswami see this. Jiva Goswami is like, what is happening? Srimati Radharani is actually sweating everywhere. And she's actually protecting this Raghunath. And then he actually went to Raghunath and is like, what is happening with you? You're supposed to be their servant. You're taking service from him. What is happening? He's like, yeah, I forgot to make a kutir for myself. Today I'll make a kutir for me for sure. So now, he actually, then he actually made this small kutir for him. And then that's where he actually start staying and basically chanting the Mahamantra, because he does not want it to have the, the trouble. He doesn't want to give this trouble to Radha and Krishna. He is, the majority of his time he's actually, he was chanting and remembering the Radha and Krishna. And we talk about the Radha Kund and the Shamakund was actually called before was Kali Khet and the Gauri Khet. Then one of the devotee from Badrinath, he was actually giving a donation to Badrinath. And then the Badrinath actually appeared. Actually the deity spoke and says, don't give me money. I don't need any money here. You go to Vrindavan and give a money to Raghunath Das Goswami. He has to build the Shamakund and a Radhakund. So this devotee came and he actually gave money to Raghunath Das Goswami and says, you know what? Here, the Badrinath says, give this money to you so you can build the Shamakund and Radhakund. So now, while he was actually building Shamakund and Radhakund, that time, he's supposed to before what we see right now, Shamakund and Radhakund was nothing like that. was like nobody even can recognize this one was a Shyamkund and Radhakund. So there was for a construction he has to make the site properly. So while this next day the construction is supposed to start, and in his dream 5 Pandavas appear. And the 5 Pandavas says, we are by the Shyamkund in a tree form, worshipping Radha and Krishna. Do not touch us. Please leave us there. And then you continue construction. We beg for your mercy. So then that's why we see the shape of the Shyamkund and Radhakund is little bit in a way that the tree is still exists there. So that is also one of the wonderful pastime. It says the Raghunath Das Goswami was in so much of a separation mood that he would often cry while he was actually chanting and remembering the Lord. There was a book called Lalita Madhava. Was actually Rupa Goswami gave it to him that book. In Lalita Madhava, that book has talk about how is the Radharani feeling separation from Krishna, and how is the gopis feeling separation from Krishna. When he read that book, he's like, I'm going to go to the Govardhan Hill and I'm going to jump and I want to die. I cannot hear this. I have to die. So then I think the Rupa Goswami said, how to stop now this Raghunath? Of course he's going to jump from the Govardhan. He's actually committed suicide. How to stop? So he's like, he fatafat write the another book. In that book, it's basically talk about this wonderful the Dan Keli. This book Dan Keli talk about this pastime where the Krishna is teasing Radharani, all funny activity between Radha and Krishna. So he's like, he took that Lalita Madhava book and he's like, okay, now can you please read this book and tell me how is this book is actually written. So now the Raghunath Das Goswami start reading the book where there is all funny activity. Now he started laughing. So then Chupchap Raghunath the Rupa Goswami took this other book. Is like, this book is not for you, continue read the other book. Otherwise you will go to the Govardhan Hill and jump. So this book is not for you. So this is the basically this wonderful pastime that the Raghunath Das is actually had it in his life. And then he basically left his body by the Radhakund, and that is how the whole wonderful he basically and his the pastime in through this material world. Now there is a many wonderful lesson that we can actually learn from the Raghunath Das Goswami. The very first lesson that what we can learn from the life of Raghunath Das Goswami is a complete detachment. We all, I'm talking about myself particularly, that the detachment to the wealth, the detachment to the family, it is a very, very strong, and it pulls us down. And sometimes to come out from that the attachment what we have with this family, it is very, very difficult. But we see the Raghunath Das Goswami, nothing stopped him when he was actually when he chose that I wanted to be in a shelter of a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nothing stopped him. His unflinching faith in Krishna, we see that while he was going to Jagannath Puri, how much obstacle came into his way. But he was a very strong, determined that I actually wanted to go Mahaprabhu, and actually I wanted to take a shelter of him. And he was having a full faith in Krishna. And he was completely dependent on the mercy of Krishna, that he did not think that how I'm going to survive, who's going to give me a food. If I don't take, he did not even take a 1 penny along with him. So he was fully depending on Krishna. Lot of family wealth, lot of prestige and lot of comfort did not stop him to become a Krishna conscious devotee. And he lived his life with the bare necessity. We are all trying to accumulate, and we wanted to make our old age better. If we wanted to make our today's better, we wanted to make our tomorrow better. But he did not worry about all of these things. And he's like, if I get the buttermilk, I'm very happy. And when there's no buttermilk, he's like surviving off of water. And when there's no water, they were surviving off air. So he was living off the very, very bare necessity, non-judgmental attitude. When he was in a Puri, what a wonderful quality to have. This is one of the biggest lesson for me, that do not become judgmental about the devotee. We are nobody to judge anybody. Only thing it is in our hand to correct ourselves. We cannot correct anybody else. So we cannot become judgmental about anybody else. So this is a wonderful pastime, and in ISKCON also we celebrate this wonderful Panihati festival every year, where we see the wonderful pot, like how Raghunath Das Goswami has actually created this wonderful pot, and he was giving actually every person a 2 pot. So like that we have also created a pot. The devotee has actually put so much of effort to paint this pot. I don't know, some of the devotees were awake till 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, preparing the pot for a festival. And Matajis, they have also prepared wonderful cheap rice, yogurt, and all of this different wonderful what do you call the dahi chida, to make this the dahi chida festival very auspicious. So we also humbly request all of you to be a part of it, part of this wonderful festival, and then you also get an opportunity to take this wonderful pot at home. Radha Govind Hari Prabhu is going to basically will talk about what is this pot and how we can take it home, Prabhuji. It is this festival is very dear to His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. And you should all hear the wonderful, how Maharaj is actually wonderfully explaining this pastime and learn about this pastime. Based on my capacity, whatever based on my intelligence permit, I have actually tried to explain. Please forgive me if there is an error, if there is any offenses actually happen into this, explaining this pastime. And if there is any question, I will try to answer. If it's not, we have all wonderful devotees here who will help us understand this pastime. Any comment or any question?
I have one question.
Mm.
So he gave up all his wealth, prestige and comfort, right? So how did he realize that he should give up everything? Like what made him do that?
Prabhu, he is like if we take the Raghunath Das Goswami, I think you missed the whole class. So you need to hear the class from the beginning. We talk about how did he actually came to this understanding the real, because he was getting a wonderful association from the beginning. So he was actually, and he's not an ordinary person, he's also one of the Manjaris, the Gopi. So for him to develop that detachment was very easy. And that is the reason the Chaitanya, and through his, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also explaining us to do not become a Falgu Vairagi. So we cannot become a Raghunath Das Goswami and then just leave everything and just pretend like I am taking renounced order of the life. That should happen very naturally. And in his situation, it happened very naturally. He was not attached. Like to have a full confidence in Krishna, that Krishna, you are the only my shelter. I'm renouncing everything with having a full faith that you will look after me. To come to that stage is going to take I don't know how many years of the bhakti.
But there should be some reciprocation from Krishna, right?
Yeah. But this devotee, they do not depend on Krishna to give any reciprocation, Prabhuji. They are not expecting that Krishna will reciprocate. They are into the devotional service unconditional. Anya bhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhi anavritam anukalyena krishnenam shilenam bhakti ruttama. So the bhakti is not demanding anything. Bhakti, pure bhakti is beyond everything. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. What is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the 8 verses of the Sistashaka? I don't need anything. You give me liberation, you don't give me liberation. If you want, you can put me underneath your feet, you stab me, I don't care. But just give me your bhakti. So they don't depend on Krishna that you give me some reciprocation, then I will do devotional service. Unconditional.
No barter exchange.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for it. Give her a very wonderful round of applause. Very nice. Very nice. So Mataji, I don't have any questions, but I have got one comment which I was thinking and I feel like sharing.
Yes, Prabhu.
See, devotees are not after name and fame. And one wonderful, sweet pastime is that sweet Kshir Chor Gopinath, Madhavendra Puri. So when Kshir Chor Gopinath stole the pot of rice offered to deities by the pujaris and then brought to Madhavendra Puri was very happy to honor the prasadam. Even he preserved the pot, he pulverized it, and little he was taking after that. But then this thing, the population, the people came to know, and his name and fame started skyrocketing. And he saw, wow, this is, so he wanted to escape, and he did escape from that place just to save himself from the name and fame. And then he went away, maybe Jagannath Puri or somewhere, where, I don't remember where he went, but he went to escape from name and fame. But by the time he reached that destination, even people there knew him. Because Krishna, and the point here is, devotees want to glorify Krishna. But Krishna is more interested in devotees getting glorified. And therefore, even at the place where he went, people were aware of him. Why? Because Krishna spread his name and fame. So it's a very sweet part. I just want to share that
Yes, thank you.
name and fame. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Any other questions?
Comment.
Prabhu, all glories to you. You missed the part. Because of your encouragement, Prabhu, that I was able to read and was able to do whatever I did today, Prabhuji. So please continuously encourage me.
That is how the purification will take place,
Each other we have to encourage. That is why Yatra will expand, basically because of holding each other's hand, keeping Krishna in the center. In this way it expands. The other day also, so this Sudha Chaitanya Maharaj, he is explained that if we have a real, chanting, perfect chanting and association of the devotees, if you are there on everybody on the same page, then the yatra will, explode, you can give Krishna consciousness to everybody. That is the intention should be there with everybody. And here also, Raghunath Das Goswami, when you said that judgmental, it is true. That's a real thing. And what happened after that, he was staying in Haridas Thakur. I have read in other books, he was staying in Haridas Thakur place. Haridas Thakur is a mlecha, he is not able to enter into the Jagannath Puri. So Lord said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, every day morning you just see the Sudarshan Chakra, that is enough. That is equivalent to see Lord Jagannath. So you be here. So he had an association of Raghunath Das Goswami. He is also staying in our Haridas Thakur's place. Every day he disappears. Where he goes, he is getting confused. Who Haridas Thakur? One day he was following him. He said to Satsvarup also about this. He said the judgmental. After that, what happened? In many people who are there from Puri Jagannath, like Prabhuji is from Puri Jagannath. Many of them they had taken the darshan of the Lord Jagannath temple. Immediately after that, the right hand side, if you go a little further up, the excess of prasadam which is wasted, where they'll put it, it comes in a banana leaf. On that, there are so many things wasted, they put it in a garbage, There's a big garbage. They used to put it there. So, Raghunath Das Goswami used to come at somewhere around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. There, what is the situation over there? All these stray dogs, they used to fight to have the prasad.
Yeah.
So, Raghunath Das used to, chase those dogs to get that a little prasadam which is sticking to that banana leaves. And he used to trap with the edge of his dhoti, and he used to come to Haridas Thakur place where everybody is sleeping. He used to wash. That is the time he used to wash, and he's trying to. All this information, as you said, No, Mahaprabhu got the information. They were all waiting for this. Then he'll go to bring this. Then he'll go to wash it. Then he'll go to eat this. That is where Mahaprabhu caught him. When he caught him, what happened? They shared, everybody shared together. Those are some of the remnant of the prasadam. As soon as the prasadam touched the tongue of that, the divine ecstasy is exploded there. Everybody started dancing, including Mahaprabhu, everybody. And that is where Mahaprabhu is fainted there itself. See, though, so intense it is. And everybody is crying. Those particular situation and circumstances is such that imitates the Rasatali. Rasatali means that is the love of God. The pure love of God is thoroughly established there. Where the Mahaprabhu dances in Shiva Sangha, that is the Rasatali. That is the place. There's only confidential devotees will be there. Who are all these confidential devotees? These are the exalted personalities, gopis, manjaris, who used to associate in Shvetatipa in kingdom of God, in Goloka Vrindavan. They used to enjoy this. The same thing in the Bhauma Vrindavana, in Bhauma, the Puri Jagannath. This is happening. That is why Puri Jagannath is so famous it is. Puri, even the Pralaya take still the Puri will remain. You have to understand, so intense it is. That's what I just wanted to share.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you.